Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Honorable Members of the City Council. My name is Roger Diamond. I'm the attorney for California Cannabis Coalition, and Nicole Del La Rosa, who is one of the ballot proponents of the measure. We do not agree with the City Attorney's position that one of your options is the general election. Your options are twofold. Either call a special election, which is extremely expensive and burdensome to the taxpayers, or more likely, adopt the measure yourself. It's a well-written measure. It's very responsible, and ironically, it was very responsible in imposing a $75,000 fee for the privilege of operating in the city, because that money would be used not just to regulate the particular medical marijuana dispensary that would be getting the license, but it could also be used by the city to make sure that nobody violates the code or does something else wrong in contravention of marijuana laws. We believe there is no doubt at all that the $75,000 fee would be upheld by a court if there were litigation over that. But now is not the time to deal with that issue. We're simply asking you to adopt the measure as written, as proposed. It's a well-written document. It's very responsible. It's very limited in scope, but it does recognize that a great majority of the citizens of Upland, including the taxpayers, would like some form of medical marijuana on a very limited basis, and this measure does the trick. So in terms of the way the measure was submitted to the city, the proponents did follow the right procedure in requesting in a timely fashion that it go to a special election. That was an option, but obviously the proponents would not know whether they had the 15% necessary for the special election until after the petition is circulated. I know apparently city staff or the city attorney was of the opinion, which I think they now concede is erroneous, that the measure had to have the request for the special election within the body of the initial petition. But one cannot predict the future. So you don't know, for example, as a circulator of an initiative measure, whether you're going to get 10% of the signatures or 15%. So they followed the law to the letter. It was done properly, and it's now before you. But we think the responsible thing to do, the best thing to do for the taxpayers of the city, and for those adults in the city who do need medical marijuana, the responsible thing would be to adopt the measure without requiring the special election. You don't need to have a special election. The $75,000 fee issue has nothing to do with a special election or a general election. The two are simply not related to each other. So in conclusion, because I know we're having 8 seconds left, I respectfully ask that you adopt the measure. We're willing to meet with you. If you think that $75,000 is a bad figure, we can negotiate that if necessary. Thank you very much.
We have Mr. Beresh, Randy Welty, and then Stephen Dunn.
Beresh, President of the California Cannabis Coalition. I want to remind you that, this community wants to work with the City Council. We want to see change. We want to see compassion. We don't want to see the wasting of funds and money. It's an easy thing to adopt this. It's very conservative. It's written in a manner that will work for this city. And you just need to take time to look at it and say yes. At this point, the state's going to legalize. It looks like 2016. Look at the money that's out there. It's estimated that $500 million in revenue to the state of California when it's legalized. It's a lot of money. We look at Colorado. Colorado, in the first 6 months of their state legalization, raised $25 million. That, again, is a lot of money. There's a portion of that comes to the city. It's time that Upland look at how to take care of itself and use the funds that are available and use the resources of the city to make it happen. Before you've got an initiative. Now it's time to look at what your citizens want. Like I said, it was one of the easiest initiatives we got done. Signatures came rather quickly. So your people want it. I want to see it. Patients want to see it. Hold some compassion in your heart, because there are a lot of sick people here. Thank you.
Following Mr. Dunn, we'll have Ken Ingram.
Good evening. My name is Randy this initiative approaches from a couple of different angles. One is that we have experienced a thriving black market that goes from brick and mortar, which are dispensaries, into delivery systems, which are totally banned. We see a plethora of these on weed maps, and what is taking place is that it is moving into our residential zones. It has been a problem. We have been witnesses to this. We have spent a tremendous amount of money here in this city trying to ban it. I think that's a serious problem in trying to approach it from that direction. What we also need to look at here in the city is the fact that San Diego, San Jose, Oakland, and a couple of other cities that have established ordinances have got into many legal fights and a lot of litigation. This is an instance where the citizens have come together to suggest an ordinance. What this does is alleviate a tremendous liability. This is a citizens' initiative in adopting land. That is the point where you more or less deflect litigation, because the citizens have gone forward. When it deals with compassion, I know that there are several hundred people here in the city alone that need caregivers that are not available to come out and secure their own. And we don't want to put these citizens in a position who have had their recommendations placed with a doctor that they have to come out and hunt it on the street. There again, it's part of a thriving black market. We have an opportunity to set aside this black market, think in very compassionate terms towards our citizens that are here, put rules and regulations in an incredibly conservative initiative where nowhere else in the state is there anything this conservative. It needs to be shown that we are a city that is moving forward, that we care for our citizens and our fellow man, and a touch of compassion, which was in the prayer tonight, and a great deal of humility and humanity need to come into bringing people back into the fold of being part of our society. And when we can do that, and we do so with citizens' initiative and laws that are shown to be compassionate towards your neighbor and fellow man, you have taken a great step forward to establish the fact that Upland is an onward city and an upward city, and we look after our citizens. Thank you.
Following Mr. Ingram, we have Chris Barrett.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. I'm here to speak about the initiative petition. Upland's been dealing with medical marijuana dispensaries probably since 1996 when the Compassionate Care Act was voted in by the citizens of California. Marijuana has been available and used in Upland longer than you've been alive, with the exception of the mayor. The city has mirrored its big brother, the federal government, who spent a lot of money with virtually no results. Yes, we may have won a battle, but we didn't win the war, and nor do I think we ever will. You're better off taxing and regulating medical marijuana, which is what should have been done years ago. The city could have made a lot of money, unspent money, been to a positive gain to the general fund instead of paying thousands and thousands of dollars to attorneys with virtually nothing to show for it. Yes, again, we may have proposed a dispensary, but there's many more out there. It's kind of playing whack-a-mole, knock one out, put one pops up somewhere. And I borrowed that from some of counties. It's really a shame that the city council actually, right as this moment, does not have a policy or direction unified that where they want to go. When the petition was brought out in September, the council could have worked together and said, okay, what happens if they're successful? You could have negotiated with these people. You could have come up with your own. Ordinance, and you could have done something that would have been a lot more favorable to the city than what's being proposed. I'm just asking that you do your homework. ask your police department, your fire department, about alcohol-related crimes versus marijuana-related crimes, and you'll see that there's a lot more money spent on alcohol-related crimes, and yet alcohol is readily available in the city, anywhere we want to go. Look into why 27 states have decriminalized marijuana, with actually 4 of those states legalizing it. There's some good documentaries out there, and they're for or against, they're middle of the road. I just suggest that you take the time to do that. Bottom line, stop wasting time and money, and either adopt the ordinance as it is, or send this out to the voters and let them decide once and for all. This will get the issue behind you. For my final comment, I'll just simply say, even if the voters turn it down, you still have a black market out there. You still have illegal or not licensed dispensary politics all over the place. The only way you're going to really regulate it is to, again, tax it and make an ordinance that will keep that. That's it. Thank you.
Following Chris Barrett, we have Robert